Hey flower letter friends, welcome to our very first flower letter craft tutorial. We're really excited about this addition to our flower letters, and we hope that you really enjoy it. We wanted to make the flower letters as interactive as possible, and so we decided to add a special craft into the Audrey Rose Collection.
So part of letter 9 is an insert that you'll get, and in that letter Charlie gives Audrey a little stained glass window, and so we thought we would create a little craft for you to do at home and create your own stained glass window.
There's two sides to your insert. One side is a color by number, so you don't have to follow along in this tutorial if you don't want to enjoy this insert. You can just do the color by number. So all you'll do is just color the same number, the same color, and it will come together into a sort of colored coloring book sort of stained glass window. On the other side, there are no numbers, and this is your pattern for what we're going to do in this tutorial, which is a faux glass window, which is just something that you can hang in your window as a light catcher, or you can just display it in your house, or really whatever you want to do with it. So we're going to go through the supplies that you'll need to create your very own faux glass turtle dove window. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a frame. This insert is an 11 by 17. 11 by 17s are a little bit tricky to find. 11 by 17 frames are a little tricky to find. So we're gonna have Mike do an 11 by 17 frame, and then I'm gonna show you how you can do the same thing on a bigger frame, which is a little bit easier to find. This is a 14 by 18. So first of all, you'll need a frame, and you can get that from your craft store, you can get it from Amazon, you can get it from your Goodwill. I've got several frames from Goodwill to do this kind of stuff. So that's a really inexpensive way to go ahead and find this part of your supplies. The other thing you're gonna need is you're gonna need paintbrushes. Just don't spend a ton of money on them, or just use whatever you have around your house, because you're going to be using glue, and the glue will ruin nice paintbrushes. So use not very nice paintbrushes. You're going to need something to mix in. We've got these little sauce cups that you get at the restaurant, really inexpensive at Walmart, or you can use little cups around the house, because it's just glue. You're going to be able to wash it out, no problem. You'll need a permanent marker, Sharpie, in black. You will need some form of dye. We like these alcohol inks. Alcohol works really well with the glue, it mixes in really well. But I've also seen this done with food coloring. So if you have food coloring around your house, and you won't have to go out and buy it, just use that. The color might not be as potent, but it will still give you a pretty tinted glass look. The other thing you're gonna need is you're gonna need two types of glue. You're gonna need your regular school white Elmer's glue, and then you're gonna need the clear glue. And this is the one you're gonna be mixing your dyes with to create the colored glass look. An additional step that you can do, but you don't have to do, is I'm just going to prep my glass with clear gesso, and it just makes it so that the color and the glue will stick to it better. You're still gonna be able to do this, no problem, and you can also varnish it afterwards, which will also give it an extra sticking or extra staying power to your glass, but it's not a necessary step, so don't go out and buy any if you don't already have it.
So as you'll see throughout the video, Hannah is the creative, talented one, and so she's going to show me and hopefully come up with something legible that I'll create.
He's creative in different ways, and it's great.
Yeah.
It'll be great. We're having him do it so you can see that even if you are not artsy, you can still do this at home. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you the steps.
I'm excited.
So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to take our glass out of our frames, and you're just going to take out the back. You're going to set the frame and the back of your frame aside. All you want is just the glass right now.
Make sure I don't.
Yeah, and be careful, make sure you don't cut yourself, because that glass is going to be a little bit sharp. So you'll set your frames aside and the back of your frames aside.
So we don't want the frame back at all?
No, you don't want the frame back.
Okay. All right.
And then you're going to take your pattern, and you're going to take maybe some washi tape or some masking tape, something that won't ruin your paper when you stick it to it. And you're just going to tape it down on the table and then you're gonna put your glass over the top of it because you just don't want your pattern to move when you're tracing it onto the glass with your magic marker.
So tape this to the table, put the glass on top.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, so the first step we're gonna do is we're gonna just tape down our pattern, and like I said again, you don't want to use any really powerful tape like duct tape or anything like that. Just use washi or masking tape that you have around the house because you don't want to rip or tear your pattern. So you can use the other side if you want to color it up later. Okay, so then you're just gonna set your glass over the top of it, and you're gonna want to center it. And I think we might be too close together because I'm not gonna be able to really center mine. Oh yeah, we will. Never mind. We're good.
Okay.
Okay. And with Mike's, you're gonna be able to just set it over and it'll fit perfectly. Mine, I just have to make sure I'm centered because I'm going to be altering the design a little bit, just drawing it to the edge, just to make it work with a bigger frame. So next you're going to take your black marker. If you don't, this is the step, if you want to gesso it, this is where you do it. You're just going to gesso the glass, just paint it on like you would just regular paint, and then just let it dry completely. And that's just priming your surface. After that, then you're going to just want to take your black marker and you're going to just trace your pattern as carefully as you can. Now for me, where I'm using a bigger frame, I'm going to go ahead and tape down my glass as well in a spot that won't be needing to be drawn on, just so it stays steady and stays even with the piece. Mike doesn't.
I might do the same. I'm worried about knocking mine, so I think it looks like you can take one right there.
Cool. Yep, that's a good idea.
And then up there, because I think I can still draw it.
Yeah. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just continuing the pattern onto the excess glass. All right, now that you've traced your pattern onto your glass, what you're going to do is you're going to mix your white Elmer's glue paint with a little bit of your black. And it's probably, I would say, maybe a 1-to-4 ratio, 4 parts glue, 1 part black. You just want to make sure that your paint or your glue is good and black so that it shows up really well on your glass, because this is going to be your leading. And I'll just put the black paint just straight into the bottle, and then I just mix it up really good. I'll use a popsicle stick, or you can use like just anything. You can even use the bottom of your paintbrush to just get in there and really mix it up really good. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to trace what we've just drawn on our glass. First we're gonna remove the pattern underneath so that it's easier for us to see, and then we're gonna trace the black lines that we've drawn on with the black glue.
One pro tip, at first I was sort of coloring the lines, and Hannah caught me, and you don't really need to do that. You just need to trace them with one line, don't need to color them in.
All right, so now that that's all mixed up, we're just gonna put our lid back on. And you're gonna wanna open your cap about halfway, because you don't want it to just pour out. You want it to kind of be a little bit restrained when it comes out. So I open mine about halfway, and that usually gives me a pretty good stream. See, so that's a pretty good stream. And so just test it before you start putting it on your glass to make sure it's the stream that you want. If you do put it on and it's a little bit too runny or it's coming out too fast, it's no problem. You can just wipe off what's gotten onto your glass and just start over. Okay, so after you've let your glue dry completely, then it's time to start mixing your color up. And so what you're gonna need for your color is you're gonna have your clear glue, your mixing cups, and your dyes.
Clear glue.
And so I'm gonna mix up, most of ours are already mixed just for the sake of the video, but I'm gonna just mix one of them up and just kind of show you what I do. It's pretty straightforward, so fast forward if you want to. So I just put in however much glue that I want. You don't need a ton for these unless you want your colors really dark, and I like mine really dark, so I do quite a bit more color on mine, or layers of color on my stained glasses. So I'm just gonna put in, I've got about, I don't know, about a tablespoon of glue in there, and then I just drip the color in. And you can, however dark you want the color to be, that's when you stop really. So I'll put in like, I don't know, about 10 drops or something.
So we're gonna be dipping the paintbrush in there and painting these, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just take the end of my paintbrush and then I'm just gonna mix it in. And then you kind of see as it mixes if it's dark enough for you or not. If it's not dark enough, then go ahead and add some more. If it is, then you're ready to start painting the color onto your glass. If you find a few of your leading that isn't, a few spots in your leading that's not 3D enough, then you're gonna wanna go ahead and maybe add a little bit more glue to that before you start painting on, just so that your colors don't seep into each other.
All right.
Okay, here goes.
Just start painting?
Start painting, and then I think, you know, depending on what size of space you're doing will determine what color of, or what size of paintbrush you want. So it's nice to have a couple of different sizes available. As you put on your layers, you're gonna notice that it's gonna look a little streaky for the first layer, and it's just a matter of just building it up until it's more solid. So don't worry if the first coat it's looking a little streaky and you don't really like it. Just let that one dry and then just add another one, and it'll start to the color will start to even out.
So you can do as many coats as you really want.
Yeah, because since it's the clear glue, it's gonna dry really clear.
Cool.
So you can make it as dark as you want. Hey everyone, welcome back. So we are all done putting the color on our faux glass window here, and now I'm going to show you the final and optional step of putting some high gloss varnish on it. Now this is high gloss varnish by Liquitex. It's the professional grade or level, and I believe they have a more beginner level that you can get for way cheaper than this one, so take a look at that. You can find it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, any of your craft stores, and all you do is try not to shake it up too much, because when you do shake it too much, you're gonna have bubbles. And so if you want to shake it and then let it sit for a little while before it, so it can get rid of all the bubbles. And then I just pour a little bit out into a little kind of craft pot, whatever cup you want to use. You can even use one of these little sauce cups that we were mixing our glue in. And then you just start from one side and just gently brush it across your glass, and that will just seal your artwork so that it'll last a lot longer than it would otherwise. And what the varnish does too is it kind of has a way of hardening the glue a bit so that it's less kind of tacky, and it's a lot nicer to touch, and it's protected if you touch it. So that's why I like to varnish them. And I also feel like it gives it more of a stained glass look. So this is totally optional, but I just wanted to show you how to do it in case you were unsure and feeling a little bit anxious about it. So it's really easy. You just brush it on, and you're gonna wanna kind of go slower because again, you're gonna wanna avoid as many bubbles as you can. And then you just let it dry. You can do multiple coats if you want to. I usually do 2 or 3, and then you're all done. Alright, so we hope you guys had fun doing this fun faux glass project. If you don't want to do the faux glass project, we just wanted to show you kind of the color by number sheets. Last night our family did a fun little game where we kind of randomly chose colors out of a bag and just did whatever color we got to create our little color by numbers, and so some of us are faster colors than others, but it was super fun, and that's something you could try with your family too. So if you don't want to do the faux glass, the color by number is just as fun. Anyway, we hope you guys have a lot of fun doing this project because we had fun making it for you.